Everybody, we are here with Alison Roberto. She is the director of this new short called Girls Night In, and that's going to be premiering at the Tribeca Film Festival on June 11th at 9:30 p.m. And then it's going to be back on Tuesday, June 14th. Allison, how are you?
Oh, I'm great. I'm really well. We're so excited to be in Tribeca. It was such a surprise and shock, and it's our little self-funded short, and to make it all the way there was just an absolute dream come true. So yeah, we're pretty excited.
The Tribeca, that's like intense. Okay, so
Yeah.
I love RGB leering at me from over your
Yeah.
shoulder. Like
Always
she's
like staring everyone down.
like, yeah, what you got? Anyway,
Uh,
so let's talk about
she's
the film.
watching over us, very, very concerned right now, I'm sure,
Yeah, just
about
going
everything
like,
going on.
why did I
Oh
choose?
yeah.
So, anyways, yeah, okay, so Girls Night In. Can you tell me about the short?
Yeah, of course. Girls Night In was a script that Landon had written quite a while ago. She and I were working on a series together. We were collaborating on some projects, and I had been offered like a fully funded feature to jump onto to direct. And the script for me was very problematic. There were some kind of women's rights concerns in there for me,
Oh,
and how things were being, kind of viewed, or the perspective was a little concerning for me. So I had brought Landon on to take a look at it, see if there was anything we can do to kind of change it up or rewrite it. Um, and we just both didn't feel good about it. It was just one
oh,
of those things where here you're handed this fully funded feature, and it's such an amazing opportunity, but at the same time, we both just didn't feel good about it morally. Um, and so we had been working on this series together, and I kind of said to her one day, I'm like, do you have like a short or a scene, or just like let's shoot something, let's do something, let's see, let's bring something to life together,
sure.
because we'd been writing for so long. And it was in the wake of kind of saying no to this feature that we weren't feeling so great about, because like you want to be able to stand behind your work, you want to feel good about it, you want to be able to talk to it, you want to feel proud of it. And so we instead decided to shoot and fund our own short instead. So that way it was something that we felt good about, that we could get behind, that we could stand behind, that we could be proud of. And Girls Night In is all of that. So she had shown me this short. She's like, I have something, but I don't know if you're gonna like it. Um, she was afraid people wouldn't get it,
Mm,
'cause, like, in the way people didn't get Jennifer's Body,
mm.
that kind of really went over people's heads. It wasn't taken as satire, it was taken literally. And she was concerned, that would happen with this. And sure, there's been a lot of festivals that haven't understood it, but the one that mattered did. Which was very exciting. But yeah, I read the script and I was like, this is really funny, and
Mm.
this is really smart, and this is something, dark comedy, horror, kind of very interesting female characters. We're playing with this concept of the Bechdel test, and like really making it into a satire and pushing the comedy aspect. I'm like, this is everything that I love. Like, I'm in.
Mm.
And I really believed in it. And so yeah, we started casting, and we started production on it, and we did it over COVID, and we shot it all in one overnight over Valentine's weekend. And yeah, it
That
was
was shot in one night?
one night. We did it in one night.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
And
I
the
mean,
blood scene at the end was one take, because we didn't have time to reset it.
wow.
So it was very ambitious, very ambitious.
And very efficient.
And we pulled it off. Yeah, we had a great crew, we had a great cast, everybody was just on it and there to help and to work hard, and we were so lucky that it all worked out.
Okay, so can you explain the Bechdel test?
Yeah. So
Okay.
the Bechdel test was created in the mid 80s by Alison Bechdel, and it examines works of fiction and if there's more than two women in a scene, and is their entire conversation only talking about a man. To pass the Bechdel test, they have to talk about something else.
Uh-huh.
And obviously that test came about at a time when women were written in a very two-dimensional way, and they were only ever arguing with each other about a guy, and that seemed to be all their interests were at the time. Women didn't have very complex, diverse, multifaceted characters
Oh,
that allowed them to be many different things. So that test was created to examine works of fiction and just like, did it pass or did it not pass? Like, are these women only talking about guys? And so our film is obviously this extreme version of that. It's like, well, if we're going to make a satire out of this and really push it to the extreme, where's the most ridiculous place that these two women could be talking about fighting about this guy? And it's like, well, what if he was there to kill them?
what if he was there to kill them and they were trapped in a room?
And they're
Yeah,
trapped in a bathroom
yeah.
fighting over this guy. And it's like, he's clearly a serial killer or there to murder them. But you know what? It's not a deal breaker because he checks off a lot of other boxes. So if Landon were here, she would tell you the whole reason she wrote this script was because when years ago before she was married and she was on dating websites, one of her opening questions was, "Are you a serial killer?" You know, and she, that was like one of her first out of the gate, questions, and people would be like, "No, like what?" What? She's like, well, she's like, at this point, it's not entirely a deal breaker. I just want to know,
I was gonna
So,
say, I'd be like, go
you know,
on.
well, tall, great eyes, nice jawline, serial. Well, I mean, like, is he good to his mom?
Are you
Like,
making money doing
yeah.
this
Do you have a
killing?
job? Like, so maybe not entirely a deal breaker to be a serial killer these days, when you're dating. So, yeah. So that's kind of where it came from for her when she decided to write this script.
That's hilarious. So yeah, I mean, let's see here. I mean, the look of the film is really cool, and it blows me away. I still can't get over the fact that you shot it in one night.
Yes.
Um,
Isn't that crazy?
that's absurd. I mean,
Well,
but
I
it
come from
looks
a music video commercial background
sure.
where we have to do a lot in a very short amount of time. So I think that helped.
I I something helped. What it was the look of it was really cool, and I loved how you used very uh accentuated colors.
Yeah.
Can you talk
Yeah.
about how you used colors in the film?
Sure. Yeah. I grew up loving like The Shining and Silence of the Lambs and all these amazing movies. But my background is very much in music videos, so and commercials, so super stylized art directions. And I was a creative director for a very, very long time before I started directing. I worked for MTV for a really long time in New York. And so super saturated colors, this blend of hyper realism, this kind of reality based fantastical tone and vibe is very much a through line in all of my work. And using very saturated color is something I've always loved, I've always tapped into. It's something that you see a lot in the work that I do. And so I wanted to bring it into the film space. I wanted it to feel just as glossy and saturated and moody as I would have created a music video. I wanted to bring that kind of stylistic vibe to it. And my cinematographers, I had two shooters who were amazing, Brian Henderson and Sebastian Paquet, who I've worked with before. And we had two cameras purposefully because we had a lot to do in a very short amount of time. And Brian was capturing a lot of main action, those grand slow push-ins on the dolly. That was really dramatic, kind of wide shots. And then Seb was getting all these more handheld, steady cam, voyeuristic angles through windows, through doors, so that way when we brought it all together, it would cover a lot for us,
Mm,
and kind of have two different ways of moving the camera.
sure.
And then as far as the lighting, for me, I love pushing lots of color. My colorist on this, Ryan McNeil at Arcam Studios, does a lot of my color grading, and we have a great relationship. And he calls me barely legal saturation because I love to push it. I push everything to the absolute limit of like as far as we can push it before we can't. It's just gonna fall apart. And so that's his
Barely legal. I love that.
barely legal saturation. That's his loving nickname for me because I'm like, put more color in it. I want to see more pink. I want to see more blue. I will put more, I love it. I love that stylized look. And so yeah, we had some great gaffers and key grips and they were all friends of
Mm.
our crew and Landon and Brian, and we were just so lucky to have a lot of talented friends that were very bored over COVID and decided to come help us and loved the script and wanted to bring it to life. So a lot of the gear was donated, a lot of people's times were donated. We really just lucked out that we had so much talent in one night that came to help us. But yeah, the look and the color and how I wanted everything to play out was already very much set from the moment we started working on it. I knew I really wanted to kind of push it there and make it very stylistic. So
Well,
again,
did
very
it.
ambitious for a one night shoot, but we
Yeah.
did it.
Well, you did it, and you did it well, and you should be very proud.
Thank you.
Because yeah, I mean, it's a fun little movie. You're at Tribeca, and it all came together in one night.
Yeah,
So,
pretty crazy. And now we're
so
working on the feature version. Landon is writing that
really
script. Yeah,
awesome.
we have a feature version in the work. She's got some really fun ideas for how to turn this into a feature, and we're really excited to have that be the next project we work on.
Awesome. Well, please come back. Please talk to us about the feature too.
Yes, I would love
Um,
to.
but again, congrats on Tribeca, and congratulations on creating a nice little slasher with a slasher with heart. Uh,
That's a
and
nice, that's a nice way of putting it. I
and
like that.
yeah. Oh my God. Okay, you guys. So Girls' Night is premiering at Tribeca Saturday, June 11th at 9:30. Back on June 14th at 9:45 p.m. Allison, it was a pleasure. Send my regards to Landon and let her know it was a fun script, and I can't wait to see the feature.
Absolutely. I will. Thank you so much for having us.
All right, take care.
Okay, bye.